All right, welcome to the Undercovers cast. We have a special edition episode here for the Bills Jaguars London matchup that's premiering tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We have a special guest, Trish, the Queen of Chaos. She is from Overreaction Buffalo, and she is here to give her insight on the upcoming matchup as well as giving a guide for Bills fans as they peruse London. Give it up for Trish. She's driving right now.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Of course.
So
what are your thoughts on tomorrow's matchup? Who do you think is going to have a big impact on the game? Do you have any stat line predictions, score predictions? Tell us what you have.
I'll be totally honest with you. I have done no research into this game. I have been just focusing on actually getting to London. But if we're looking at sort of previous games and what the Bills have done, I'm saying Trevor Lawrence is eating dirt at least 4, maybe 5 times. I know we've got injuries on the line there, but I don't see why that should impact the Bills. They're very good at sort of moving around that line and making sure that everyone's like there's never a set lineup for who's going to be playing where. There's a lot of shuffling around, so I don't think this is actually going to break the Bills' stride. I think that's one major bit, and then that Allen to Diggs connection is just unrivaled. I don't see why they're not going to continue to build on that as well. So I'm seeing another big game from Stephon Diggs as well. I am going to see something. I think we're going to see something from Gabe Davis, just because I know that, Diggs is probably going to be covered quite a lot as well. Those two are a big game. I'm not seeing much from either of the tight ends, to be honest with you. I think they've been sort of shuffling around on the line to help protect Josh, which I think has been working fantastically so far. So again, I don't see why they're going to try and disrupt that flow that they've got. So big days from Davis, Diggs, and the defensive line. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the the Jaguars in their small sample size, they've actually had a lot of success versus 12 personnel. Their defensive DVOA is like -10, which is very good. They hold in 12 personnel, the yards per attempt or yards per pass is like 3.5 yards per play is like 3.5 in 12 personnel. So they've had a lot of success. But some people think that, contrary to that, it's such a small sample size, so they haven't really faced the Bills' 12 personnel yet. See, they've faced the Chiefs without. Travis Kelce did play in their Week 2 game. They played the Colts, they played the Texans, and they played the Falcons. Chiefs, obviously, they have Noah Gray, Blake Bell, Travis Kelce. But Travis Kelce was coming off his injury. I do think he had a bit of a game. I think he might have had a touchdown in that game, but facing the Colts, facing the Texans, those aren't like very tight end heavy teams. I mean, they have Mo Alley Cox and Jelani, your guy Jelani Woods.
He's on IR right now.
He is? Oh no!
He is, yeah. He's on IR right now. I drafted him in like 2 or 3 of my fantasy leagues, and I had to immediately put him onto the IR. I was like, damn it. Because I honestly thought he was going to have a big season this season just with the new quarterback, and I think I just feel like the game plan that they have would have worked well in his favor. So I was really excited for him, and then he was on an IR right now. So
it sucks. I remember when he was first being drafted. I I actually wanted the Bills to draft him. He was just so big, but I think he had some
I was very vocal about the very same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But the tight end personnel usages of those 4 teams, I'm not very familiar on, but it's a small sample size. We'll see how they fare against the Bills' 12 personnel, but you might see them blocking more in this game because of Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker on the defensive line, Afukasi, I think that's his name. Uh, I don't remember his name, but I know it's a very tough name to pronounce. But he's one of their defensive tackles. Um, it just depends on their injuries. I think Devin Lloyd is going to be out. Um, so you're going to have Chad Muma in there, and I guess he's been looking pretty good this season. So it's going to be tough. Their boundary corners are not very good. So Diggs, Davis, like you said, they could have big games. I think one of their corners has like a 113 rating against him. Yeah.
Don't line that person up against Diggs.
Yeah. So Alan Diggs, and how about we talk about, like you said, their connection? It's been really good this season. Diggs, knock on wood, doesn't have a drop. I'm gonna see
Special.
his reception to target ratio.
I think
what's
whatever
going on?
Dorsey's been doing this season has worked for them. Because I mean, even like when this is like looking at when Stefon Diggs was like sort of first brought onto the Bills, and like we were seeing stuff out of this quarterback and that wide receiver that I don't think anyone in the league had seen before. And now we're back at that sort of the starting point.
Yep.
So I think whatever happened in that first game against the Jets, it must have shook loose something, because Dorsey's sort of gone back to basics with Allen, and it's working so well. I mean, since that first game, he's won Offensive Player of the Week twice.
Yeah.
So it definitely says something. So whatever is happening there is working for them. And again, if something's working, you don't try and fix it. So again, yeah, I can't see it moving.
The interesting nugget, I was listening to Bill's local radio at one point. It wasn't that that Dorsey was trying to calm down Allen. He was calming down the receivers because they were getting frustrated not getting the football all the time. So he went to the receivers and he told them, "Hey, don't always ask for the football. Josh Allen's going to give you the football when he sees you open." So I think it was more on the trying to calm down the receivers more than just calming down Josh Allen. And you've kind of seen it's working.
Yeah, I mean, look at Diggs's catch percentage is at 79.5%. That's the highest in his career. Of course, it's 4 games, so can't really use that sample size to project a full season. But his yards per target is at 10.2. He's got 12.9 yards per reception. Most of those are the highest in his career as a Bill. Back in 2020, his catch percentage was 76.5. So it rivals that season when Diggs and Allen had probably their best connection in the past 4 seasons. So, like you said, Trish, they're getting back to that. It's going to be huge. I mean, Diggs already has 19 first downs. So I'm really enjoying what we're seeing from Dorsey. This is probably going to be a big game for Diggs again, just given the Jaguars corner situation. Most of their corners don't have a very good passer rating against them. So it's going to be a good day for the receivers. They might want to run some more 11 personnel, even 10, maybe not 10 personnel, to be honest. You want to keep those tight ends in there.
Yeah. Kind of feels like kind of feels like another kind of like a play action type game that's really going to work. Use Cook often, try to get that run game going so you can use the play action and use it towards Allen's strengths. I mean, you kind of mentioned all those good stats on Diggs. Josh Allen, 3 of the first 4 games, has a completion percentage over 70, and he had an 84% completion percentage last week against the Dolphins. I think the week before he had roughly around the same number. I mean, Josh Allen has 3 other games where he went over 80% completion. I mean, you got to go back to 2020 when he had an 80% completion percentage against the 49ers. Thanksgiving of 21, 82%. And last year opening night, 83% against the Rams. I mean, right now he's shown that in the past he can get to that point, but he's showing it this year. He's doing it more consistently, and right now he has a 74.8 completion percentage. It's right now streaking a career high at that stat ledger. So keep going, keep pressing.
Yeah, like I said, Dorsey, like I don't think he's really called a bad game so far. Maybe between the Commanders and Jets games, those are probably his weakest games called. When he was calling some runs on 2nd and long versus the Jets, and doing a pass play on 3rd and short versus the Commanders. But so far this season, he's really, played to Josh's strengths, using a lot of play action under center. His is actually the most efficient in the league by a mile, and the best under Josh's career. So in the last 4 seasons, so it's definitely been working. Probably don't want to change very much. And the thing about last year, the turning point in the season was versus the Steelers after the 98-yard touchdown to Davis. Up until then, Allen was taking what the defense was giving him. He was doing the taking the short passes, death by 1,000 cuts. But once that 98-yard touchdown happened, I think he got too pass happy. He thought, I can throw it downfield more often, and I'm going to have success. And once he did, he started throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
And especially in the red zone, he got too complacent, and he was taking more risks. That's the thing. He was taking more risks. So especially after the Jets game, it's nice to see him reset and do what he does best and not take those risks. So it's good that he has the ability to flip that switch, either in a good way or in a bad way. So that's the most impressive thing about him this season, is that he's shown the ability to control his playmaking.
Yeah. I guess my concern in this game, heading into this game, is going to be the run defense. Trish, you could obviously at any point come in and talk whenever you feel comfortable. It's run defense. Travis Etienne and whoever they have with there. I think, with injuries in the line, it really just makes me nervous that Travis Etienne can just run all over the Bills tomorrow. Will it happen? I don't think so, but it's obviously something to be concerned about now with more injuries piling up on that line.
I think the issue we've had in past seasons, though, isn't not just the line, because the line's always been pretty good. Like, obviously they're not at the level that they are this year, but even in past seasons, it's not been bad. They've been pretty average. I think the reason that they've been able to why so many teams have been able to like basically run all over the Bills is because they didn't have any help past the line. Because I think on the linebacker side, it was really only Matt Milano that was actually playing to a level that he should be. Tremaine Edmonds was obviously helping. Like I can't bash the guy. I really did like him, but he wasn't he wasn't helping as much as he should have. But now with Terrell Bernard, I think with him and Milano, I think we've got something pretty solid. To where even if they do manage to get past the line, they're not going to be able to get very far. Obviously, with the exception of last game, I think last game there was a couple of big yards, like a couple of big rushing yards, but I don't think there was that. It wasn't as concerning to me, and I don't see it being much of a concern now. I don't think Travis Etienne has been playing to his level that he has last season either. I don't know. I've not got the stats, but I've not really been hearing much about him. Usually in the past couple of seasons, we're always hearing about how great he is, but I don't think the Jaguars are using him as they should either. So I think there's a bit to play on both sides. I'm not as worried about the run defense as I have been. If it was last season, I'd be so worried right now. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. But I think this season, I think they're doing a little bit better. I don't know. I guess that's just my opinion, but I've not been as much of a concern with it.
His yards per stepped from 5.1 last year to 3.8 this year. So
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, he hasn't had the same exact year as we were expecting him, I guess, this year. But I mean, he's still a threat.
The Jaguars yards per carry is at 3.6. It's in the bottom, probably the bottom quarter of the league. They only have 3 rushing touchdowns. Their rush first percentage is the bottom quarter of the league as well. So it's their rushing attack isn't as potent as one would have hoped. See their attempts. They're middle of the pack in attempts, so it's not like they're not running the ball. But obviously, we've led up long runs to Breece Hall, Brian Robinson. We let up the big run to Devin Achane. So it is a concern, but our statistics might be skewed because of those long runs. Obviously, if there's a continuing trend of the Bills letting up long runs, that's a concern. But obviously, our defense is focused on the passing attack. So we want to maintain that. You're not always going to win with those rushing defense. They're going to. I think what also skews it too is that long run by Sam Howell. Like, how the hell did he run for 18 yards like that?
That was all missed tackle. That one was another break your TV moment.
I was like, what the hell? You're letting this 6-foot guy run all over you. That was really, really maddening. But I can see why you'd be concerned about the run defense. It's going to be a huge part to stopping their passing attack, too. You want to shut down the run, not over-pursue on the run, and set that up to stop their passing attack. Jordan Poyer is going to be back, so that's a plus, hopefully. I think he is. Just the defensive line is a little thin right now. Shaq Lawson stubbed his toe. What's up with that?
Questionable, yeah.
Like,
Miller might be on his. Miller's like pushing to be back. I'm not in the camp of he's actually going to be back. I don't see why they rush him back so quickly. It's nice that he's travelled to London because obviously I think for the fans more than anything to be able to see him out there would be fun. But I don't see them trying to take the risk and bringing him back when he's not needed. I mean, we're only in week 5. There's no need for him to be back this soon. It's great to see him out there and practicing, but
I can see both sides because rushing him back after 2.5 practices is not ideal, especially for a guy who's 34 years old. He's coming off a second ACL tear. But he knows his body, and it's more of that mental hurdle as well. He's been okay to go for about 4 weeks, actually. It just hasn't gotten the practices in. So it's mainly just the amount of practices that he's had so far that makes me wonder, is he actually going to be available to go? I ideally you'd want him against the Giants. Sunday night football, home field. That would be the best debut for him. But our defensive line is pretty thin right now, at least with defensive ends. We have 2 defensive ends that could possibly be out. I mean, Greg Rousseau, we know he's out, but Shaq Lawson, we don't know what the deal is with him. And having Von Miller, although he hasn't been included in the rotation for about a year, the possibility of him not being out is just one less defensive end to have when we kind of we're building up that excitement for him to come back. What we're really going to watch out for is the elevation of Cameron Klein off of the practice squad. If he's elevated, then we know for sure at least one of the defensive ends, not named Greg Rousseau, won't be available for the game. This is going to be a big game for our defensive tackles.
100%.
Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones, Jordan Phillips. It's going to be their game to take over.
I agree. I guess the one thing with Von Miller, I didn't really have a chance to chime in on Wednesday, but Von Miller, big, cool name. He's finally healthy to come back. But we were all hoping for next week to be the day that he does come back and play a game, and trying to rush him back a week early. It's kind of just gives me this weird vibe, like something could happen. You obviously you're not in Buffalo, you're across the pond in London. Footing is different. On
you don't know what it's like to play on Tottenham Field.
Yeah. It's turf on there as well, but it's not the black turf, it's the spongy green. We used to play on that when we were kids, because that's what all the kids British football, the real football, we would play it on this green turf, and it is a good surface, but it's not. I mean, football's different. It's not full contact sport.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously American football very much is, so I don't know how that would affect. I know if they were here to play soccer, then it would be different. I'd have no concerns, but given the fact that it is this turf, that we don't know how it affects full contact sport, it's a little different. I mean, I didn't see much. I didn't really catch much of last week's game, but was there any sort of major injuries or anything that might have?
Not that I know of.
There wasn't any major injuries, but one thing I've noticed a lot when the game was playing at Wembley last week, there was a lot of plays that should have been made, but the players were tripping, they were slipping, and the cutting was weird and off.
Is it the same turf at Wembley that it is at Tottenham?
I think it is. I'm not too sure. What? Yeah, my brother says yeah. The same turf, the green. Yeah, it's the same exact turf that they use at Tottenham. So it could just be because even the studs are different on football boots compared to the soccer boots as well. So the way that they're playing, it's very, very, the two very different sports, and obviously the pitches do work perfectly for football, but for American football, it is different. So we'll see. I think this is more of, obviously with Stephon Diggs, he loves to do his little quick routes and really try and break his defenders' knees, but ankles. But is he going to be able to stick it and turn as well as he does on grass? Is James Cook going to be as explosive on this turf as well? So there's a lot of questions just based on that. I'd like to think it doesn't affect them as much. Obviously, they have been practicing around the area as well. They know what they're walking onto. So I'd like to think that they're well aware of what's going on. But obviously, you never know what it's going to be like at full speed in a game. So that's definitely something to watch out for if stuff doesn't look to be running as smoothly as what we'd hoped.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. Probably makes me even more nervous than the Bills going on FedEx Field. I was nervous about them going on there because of the injury curse with all those athletes. But okay, that's interesting to know. That makes me, less less excited to see Vaughn on the field.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's one reason I definitely wouldn't rush him back. I mean, again, like I say, it's so early in the season. You can, even if it results in a loss or a really difficult win, I mean, I'd take that than lose Miller so early after we just got him back.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very serious concern in that sense. I'd like to not see him on the field just as much as I would. Just because, again, being in London, we won't see him unless we make the trip out to Buffalo. So it'd be nice to see him, but I'd rather forfeit him for this game rather than the rest of the season.
Yeah. His snap count is going to be down if he does play. He's probably, I would expect him on third downs more often. And obviously Shaq Lawson, Greg Rousseau, they're having injury concerns. So they might want to sprinkle him in on second down as well. But just hearing about the turf and how it might affect them, that makes me nervous. I don't want to see him get injured again. It would be more favorable to have him debut on our own field rather than 3,500 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my sister stepped on the scale. I was like, what does that sound?
All right, let's kind of get into the London aspect of this. I mean, we're talking football, but let's get into the creative side of this episode. The fun little creative side. Like, have you seen a lot of Bills fans in what it's supposed to be a Bills home game, and what it's supposed to be, I guess, the Jaguars' new home, second home away from home type of thing? What kind of vibes are you getting heading into this game?
So I was, obviously, because I've only gone to like the Bills oriented pubs, I was like, okay, it's going, like, it's obvious that it would be. But then as I was traveling, I'm staying at Stansted Airport at a hotel there. So it's about an hour from central London. So traveling in, I saw, I think, 5 or 6 Bills fans on the train from Stansted. Then when we got into central London and we started getting the tubes everywhere else, I am seeing Bills fans everywhere. It is insane. I always know that Bills Mafia travels well, but I was unsure of how well they travel all the way across the pond. But it's been insane to see. I've not seen as many Jaguars fans as I've seen Bills fans. Usually when it comes to London games, there is fans from every single fan base. You'll always see like an odd Seahawks jersey or like a Falcons jersey or something. We have seen a few of like odd jerseys, but for the most part, it has been Bills. I've not even seen that many Jaguars fans. I'm just thinking if maybe there would have been more at Wembley last week, and not here this week. But it's been, I thought there'd be more travelling later on, but it's been wild to see. There's so many Bills fans. Even someone's sending me pictures at Battersea Power Station where they've got like NFL stuff going on, and everywhere you're looking, it is just Bills fans.
That's got to be so comforting, just because you never
Yes.
see NFL fans out in London,
No.
and just like all of a sudden you see your people. It's
Yeah.
just your fan base just surrounding you. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, finally! Like I can feel Bill's Mafia where I live. So that's got to be really cool.
Yeah. No, it's even like shouting "Go Bills" and you're having like 6 different responses from different areas. It's not even the original person you shouted it at, but like see more because not everyone's wearing the jerseys and the hats. Like I was just wearing a Tyler Bass. Like even today, it's just a Tyler Bass t-shirt. Like, it's not. Yeah, it's not specifically Bills, but it's still like that sort of merch that people are wearing, because obviously Bills Mafia has loads of different merch,
Mhm.
people like that as well. So it's insane to see, and it's really cool. Like, I think Billy Buffalo was roaming around the official
Yeah, you
Bills bar
took a
as
picture
well.
with him.
Yeah, took a picture with him. They had all of like the old, so I think Fred Jackson, Thurman Thomas,
Mhm.
a couple of others, I can't remember who, but they were all at the bar as well. So it's just everyone, everywhere you go in London, you will find a Bills fan in one of the bars around there. So it's yeah, you wouldn't think that it's just some other NFL game. You would definitely think you're at home playing in Buffalo. So yeah, because the energy, the same. I was saying this to a friend yesterday that when I went to Buffalo and I went to the game there, I'm getting the same sort of energy in London than I was when I was in Buffalo.
That's awesome.
Obviously, it's not as many people, but I'm getting that same vibes from everyone that I'm meeting. So it's I definitely
just-
think the presence of Bills Mafia is
Mm.
100% going to be felt in that stadium tomorrow.
I just can't imagine how many, if like obviously the sample size is probably smaller and it's more condensed with Bills fans, but I wonder how many are actually like, obviously all those people are going to be in the stadium. They're going to the game, but I wonder how much, like what percentage of the stadium is going to actually be Bills fans.
That's
Like,
Well,
are the Jaguars fans hiding, or all the fans of other teams hiding? Like, where are they?
so
How much of that stadium is going to be Bills Mafia? So it's
Yeah.
just, that's exciting. I can't wait till they pan around the stadium to see how many like blue and red are in there.
Yeah.
interesting nugget I noticed from just wanted to see because this is the NFL going to London, and this is kind of like the NFL like trying to marketplace themselves, and like how many people from London, or from the country that they're going to actually can get these tickets. It actually was reversed before most of the games felt really neutral. Like the game at Wembley felt neutral. I mean, you saw I seen like Bears jerseys, I seen Packers jerseys, I seen Lions jerseys, Jaguars jerseys, Falcons jerseys, Ravens jerseys. Like name all 32 teams. They're probably one of them is at least represented there. But it's actually reversed this time. There's 70% for this year. They changed the rule that 70% of tickets go to the Americans, and the other 30 goes to England.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
and
Huh.
I kind of don't like that though, because
No.
you're marketing yourselves in England or like Germany or Mexico or whatever they want to go,
You want to
and
give
you're giving the majority
home
share to
fans a
American
chance.
fans rather than British fans, German fans, or
So
whoever.
that's even more condensed so Tottenham season ticket holders, they get a certain percentage as well. So because they're hosting the game, they get a certain, I can't remember exactly what percentage they got, but they got a percentage of the seats for them to sell to their groups, obviously their season ticket holders. Obviously who they went to in the end is unknown, but when you say that there's only sort of 30% already being donated, and then 5% of that is going to Tottenham, it doesn't leave very much for the rest of NFL fans across the UK and even Europe. So we've got a lot of Bills from Germany. We've got a few from France. So they're all coming in from. I mean, Bills Italy is bringing over a big group as well. So there's a lot of fan bases that aren't just because it's easy to get to London for them from other European countries. So when they are sort of reducing that amount of tickets they can sell, it's not great, especially when there's so many fans everywhere that would love to come and see a game when they can't make it to the States.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah.
But that makes me think that there's going to be a lot of Bills fans there.
Yeah.
A lot of Bills fans. Jaguars fans, they've probably already been in London for the past week because of their game versus the Falcons. So
Well, that's what I
I
was
don't know if
thinking. I
they're
thought
just
there should have been more of them, because they
Mhm.
the way that I would think is that if you're going to be going to two of the games, that you just stay here for the full week. But that's so that I was fully expecting like a good mix, but I've only seen. I don't know if maybe I've just been more attuned to seeing Bills fans, maybe. But yeah, I've only seen Bills fans. I've not seen many. I think we saw one yesterday walking past one of the bars, and that's the only Jaguars fan that I've seen like
Wow.
actually seeing. So just
Maybe
one.
they're just in their hotels or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they're just like
I
NFL'd
think
out.
I think it's a Friday as well. So on a Friday it is busy, but only if you're already in London. So
Mhm.
I think today will be a real test to see exactly how many people are here.
Yeah.
So I'll update you with a count of how many people I see on the
Okay.
way into central London, and we'll
Hmm.
see exactly how diluted that that entire stadium is going to be of Bills fans.
There is a huge capacity difference between Wembley Stadium and Tottenham. Wembley
Yes.
Stadium holds about 90,000 people, and Tottenham only goes about 62,000.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a massive,
Wow.
I guess, difference between, if you go to Wembley, there's probably a chance where you can get more European and people from the UK to go to these games because there's more seats. But now you condense it to about 62,000 and 70% goes to the American share. I mean, that's probably at least what, maybe 50, 45-ish thousand people that are just from America alone. So that means there's only like 10,000 seats for people outside of the United States to go to these events.
Yeah, that makes me wonder how many Bills fans are like. The stadium might be full of Bills fans.
Yeah.
Then, so that's really cool. I hope that we have a big presence because what I've been worried about is, you know, on third down situations, like what's it gonna sound like when the Jaguars offense is out there?
I think they're able to bring their music and
Yes.
sounds as well, so I think that will be
Okay.
played. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see exactly how much the crowd is going to influence, because it will be obviously like being regular Bills fans and stuff. We know when to keep quiet in the
Yeah.
crowd so as not to affect the Bills playing. But obviously, when there is fans that are coming there just from any fan base, and they're just there just to experience an NFL game, like I think it's going to be loud all the time. I hope they do the thing where they do the decibel monitor to see exactly how loud it gets in there, because that would be definitely interesting to see exactly how loud we can get it.
I wonder if they're gonna bring the shout song when we score touchdowns.
I'm sure there'll be enough Bills fans around who will
Yeah.
start that,
Yeah.
even if they don't have it at the
Themselves.
stadium.
They'll just scream it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be our version of singing during the game because,
Yeah.
soccer likes to
Yeah.
sing, like, in the middle of
Yes.
the game. I mean, I enjoy the singing in soccer. Like, I like it. It's kind of cool just the commentators just shut up for a minute and you're just listening to it.
Yeah.
And then there's just our version. We're just screaming and chugging beers.
Yeah. And
No.
this is Josh Allen's first international game,
Yes.
which is really cool for him. Like, wondering how he's gonna take it all in, and if there's fans that are, not going along with what usually happens at a Bills home game, or like at an NFL game, like if they're just like screaming at on like random downs,
Yeah.
like I would hope that he's just gonna go like this, to quiet them down a little bit. So it's gonna be really, really cool to see how he handles the international crowd.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun experience no matter what happens with the game.
Mhm.
Just I think like obviously we don't do tailgating here; it's not a thing. So just that cultural difference is already such a
Yep.
big, big difference in how this game is going to be played. And obviously, British fans, like if you go to watch a soccer game here compared to watching a football game there, it is a completely different vibe. So I definitely think that is also going to sort of play on the minds of the players a bit, just because it is such a different
Mhm.
atmosphere. But it'll be definitely fun to see how the crowd is going to react to the game. I think it's definitely going to be one for the ages. I'm quite looking forward to it.
They don't even tailgate for soccer?
No,
What?
there's a no open can policy. You're not allowed to have
Mm,
open drinks in
that's
in
great.
crowded areas, in public areas. So even in pubs, when you've got like beer gardens and stuff,
Yeah.
there is a perimeter which is belonging to the pub, so you can have drinks outside. Otherwise, you're not allowed to have open drinks.
That's crazy considering
Yeah,
like England is like such like a beer heavy like
yeah,
region. Like You guys drink a lot out there.
Yeah, but
No, you
it's
guys
just
got a lot
it's
of
not
pubs.
something. It's that, and we're not allowed to have open fires either in public areas. So even if the car parks, there's one car park for Tottenham, and it's quite a bit away. It's because it's in central London. But even so, when I go to Man United games,
Like, do you say car park?
yeah, a car like well, you can
Parking
park your
lot.
cars. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. You guys say it differently there.
Yeah. So it's surround obviously as it does surround the stadium, but we don't have any lots further out from that.
Mhm.
It's just for the cars. Like you can't put
You can't just
you
sit.
can't have
Okay.
barbecues or anything like out there.
Wow.
It's just not a thing because the games are much shorter as well. Like there's not like the run time of a full game. It'll be about
Mhm.
3 hours for an NFL game. With a football game, you'll be out within like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's much shorter, so you don't have time, and then people will immediately leave afterwards. So it's just not a thing to hang around before the game. And I mean, even for when I went for the Bills game, it was like people were tailgating like the week before. Like they're out there for like the entire week, and it's just I don't think people are as passionate about the teams as they are there.
That's crazy. I couldn't do that. Like the vibe at Bill's home games, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is
It's
what
just
I'm saying.
everyone.
This is why I'm telling you the atmosphere is completely
Yeah.
different for both sports in both countries.
I
It's
just couldn't do that.
yeah,
Like I'd be like I'd feel so misplaced. Like
yeah,
you not being able to tailgate. That's crazy.
yeah.
I
But
guess
We have the
the
pubs open early, but
Mhm.
you can only serve from 10 a.m. On a Sunday, and you have to stop serving by 10 p.m. The only exception is at Christmas and New Year's where they can serve a bit longer.
Mhm.
But laws as well prohibit how long you can be drinking for as well. So there's a lot of factors in play that really sort of just make a tailgating like experience moot here because it's just nothing that we can't really allow for it. So yeah,
Our
it'll be interesting.
the governor of New York, she actually amended the law for Sunday so that fans can drink earlier around 9:30 a.m. for the game.
8 a.m.
I saw
8
that
a.m.
a.m.
an hour ahead before the game.
I saw that really cringy tweet. I did see it, and
Oh yeah, where she was just like drinking like a
yeah.
bat or something
Well,
in the bar.
she didn't even drink it. She just opened it and sat there
Yeah.
looking at the camera. She didn't even take a sip. There wasn't
She
even like a Go Bills at
opened
the
it,
end or
Go
anything.
Bills.
Oh yeah, she's different. she's not like one of us.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it was no. I think it would be good, even without the tailgating.
yeah, I bet the atmosphere itself just in Tottenham and the fact that our new stadium is modeled after it,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's just going to be a good experience for Bills fans to sit in there and like kind of understand what it's going to be like once the new stadium is up.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. And for them to experience the concourse because I think there's a brewery in there. It's like the
Yes, there
largest
is.
brewery
Yeah.
or something like that in England or the UK. I hope we have a little, I don't think we're gonna have a brewery in the new Bill Stadium, but
I think that might be pushing it a bit further.
They might have to open the gates way early then.
yeah, for sure. But I think like in the Sabres,
Mhm. There's a brewery. Yeah,
Sabres.
it's like
It's
it's
not
literally
like
walking
really a
distance.
brewery. Oh yeah, they have like Southern Tier Brewing Company like right across the street or something like right across the river. But in the Sabres dome, they have like a vodka bar or something like that, like an actual bar where you can get mixed
Oh
drinks.
yeah.
I
Mhm.
hope the new Bill Stadium has that
Yeah.
because they don't.
No,
We
so
don't have that now.
No, I'm interested to go. I want to compare it to the West Ham Stadium as well. So, the baseball, whenever MLB comes here, they always play out West Ham Stadium. West Ham Stadium is really, really nice. It's not as big as Tottenham, but it's just as sort of expensive, I
Mhm.
guess. So I'm interested to see how it compares to other UK stadiums as well, just to see what it's like as. So obviously Tottenham's like top of the range now. That's what they built it for, the fans,
Mhm.
because they knew it's like SoFi Stadium where it's not just for the games, but they have it as an entertainment venue as well.
Yeah.
So they put a bit more money into it to make sure that it was a sort of created for a fan experience. So it'd be interesting to see how it lines up with other stadiums as well. But if the Bill Stadium is going to be anything like that, I think if home games are going to become that much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. Man, I'm just looking at the Tottenham Stadium. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I
It
just
is
Well,
love
really
how.
cool.
the pitch. I'm sure everyone knows that, but the pitch sort of moves away and makes space for the NFL
Yeah.
turf. So it sort of folds out into the stands, and you get the NFL pitch sort of rising up from there. So it's not. This is exactly what I'm saying. They've built it for everything else and not just for football. So it's
Mhm.
yeah, I'm excited to go there. I want to see how that's going to be.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially with Bills taking over the state, like Bills fans probably taking over the stadium. I mean, just think about it because Tottenham Stadium, like the seats are closer to the field. I mean,
Mhm.
just imagine like just an entire stadium filled of 62,000 Bills fans, and like the right on top of the field. There's no way the opposing teams are communicating through their walkie-talkies, like through the
Yeah.
intercom system. They're going to have to learn sign language or something
Yeah.
because there's no way. Because soccer games get loud, but if you throw in a bunch of Bills fans screaming at the top of their lungs, that's a different level.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Well,
gonna be
that's
so
the other thing.
cool.
There's no sort of communication in football here. Like there's no one standing on the sideline shouting out a different game plan. Like it's just they
They
already
just
have
play.
that set beforehand, and then they just
Yeah.
play. Like that's how they know. Sort of, they've got set pieces. Like there will be set things that they know what to do, but for the most part, it's get open and kick the ball. So it is
Mhm.
very, very different from what American football is going to be, which is why noise has never been a factor. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see exactly what they're going to do, especially when the noise is like you say, so close to them.
Yeah, you gotta like post like a video of how loud it is in the
Oh
stadium,
yeah,
and just
definitely.
like give us like a panorama view of like of
Yeah,
everyone to see how many Bills fans are in there.
yeah.
That's gonna be so
Now
cool.
that's one thing I've predicted is that every single sports media outlet, both in the States and here, all they're going to be talking about is how many Bills fans are actually
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Because we're just seeing them on the streets, and like I said, Friday wasn't a day where I think a lot of people were still flying in on Friday. So we weren't seeing a lot of fans. But now with Saturday, the day before the game, I know that not most people are already going to be here that are going to be there for the game. Um, and everyone's going to be out on Saturday night because you can't tailgate on the
Mhm.
Sunday morning. So everyone's going to be out. So yeah, I think like I said, today is going to be a true measure of exactly how many fans are around, and then we get to see what happens in the stadium.
For sure. Now, do you have any tips for Bills fans on like how to uh how to wander around London? Any nice pubs around, nice attractions?
Um, to be totally honest with you, I think the best way to travel will be the tube. Just because it's so quick and so like a new tube is coming every minute or 2 minutes or so you're never going to miss one. And on a Saturday, the last tubes stop at just after midnight, so you've got like a full day to do everything. So tube is definitely one, and if you miss it for whatever reason, Uber is fantastic in London.
Mhm.
If you go to any other city in the UK, it's rubbish, but in London, it is really, really good. So you can get an Uber from anywhere to anywhere. So yeah, for to get around, it's those bits, and then if you want to tour, open top bus tours are the best.
Mhm.
And you get them from so many different companies. Every sort of travel company has one. It's just
Those
a case of
classic
shopping
red
around.
buses.
Yes, well, they do the red ones, and there's obviously different colours as well. But yeah, the classic red buses, those open top bus tours are the best ones. Because you can plug headphones in and it will give you like a little
Oh,
bit of
really?
history of where you're at. So it gives you a proper tour without you having to without you having to do research into it, and they call it a hop on hop off bus tour, so you can it'll keep riding around in a circle the whole day.
Oh wow.
And if you pass somewhere that you want to, so they'll go to the main bits like to Trafalgar Square and to Buckingham
Mhm.
Palace, and if you say you want to spend a bit more time at Buckingham Palace, you just hop off the bus, spend 10-15 minutes there, and then you'll wait, and the next bus will be just a few minutes. And you can get back on there, you just show your ticket, and then it'll go past that same route. And it's perfect because you don't have to worry about anything. Sort of the route is already set, you just have to get off wherever you want to. So yeah, I would definitely, if you're ever going to come to London and you want to do a tour, that is the best way to do it. They do private ones, but it's more expensive and not as, I think it's more fun when you're in a bigger group, just because you can, converse with people as well. So I definitely recommend that. And shopping on Oxford Street, that's the big one, because there is so many shops there that you like. There's a Nike shop there that's like the size of a warehouse. It's insane. Like there's no need for it to be that big. So definitely, if you're going to be coming to London, you got to do like the major sites that everyone goes to, and then shopping is another one. And if it's good weather like this, go to the park and have a bit of a picnic there. That's always fun as well. And pubs. I mean, for the bars, obviously the backers, the Bills backers of London and the UK Bills backers are doing their set. They've got their set bars for the weekend. But if you come outside of obviously now, then the London Backers Bar is the place to be, because you'll be surrounded by Bills fans, and where would you want to watch a game with anyone but Bills fans?
Right.
So yeah, that's my recommendations. Other than that, I think pubs in London are pretty much the same. If you want to go to, well, pubs and bars are different. I would recommend more going to bars than to a pub. Just because pubs can be filled with locals and you don't really want to be conversing with many of the locals, especially when they're like 6 or 7 pints in, and it just gets a bit much. So bars are a bit more chill. But yeah, I think anyone who's coming to London, no matter what you do, you're going to have some sort of an experience. Whether it's good or bad is up to you, but it will be an experience, and one that you'll be talking about for a while.
No, I can assume they don't have Labatt out there.
They do not. No, I think the closest, we've got Bud Light. I think that's the closest thing to it.
Yeah.
Or there's Bud Light Blue, which might be a little bit closer. To be fair, I don't like any of the beers. I don't even like Labatt, so I can't really tell you convincingly which one would be the best. But I'd say one of those. Be prepared. It won't be very cold beer, I will say that.
Really?
Yeah, even when you go into bars and stuff, they will be colder, but for the most part, it's not like chilled like from the fridge.
Yeah.
It's not that sort of beer.
Oh,
It still stays pretty
like...
cold, but it's not like ice chill cold.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
So like make it a little warm.
Yeah, no.
Like
it's not. It's
warm
still cold. It's just
cold.
not refrigerated cold.
Yeah.
So it's not the kind of It's not that kind of. It's just not. I think traditionally beer is kept stored in the cellar or in like a basement, so it stays cold. So you don't need to waste electricity by putting it in the fridge.
Right. Yeah.
But it does stay cold. It's just not something that's been sat in in a refrigerator for like 7 hours. So it's not cold. It's just cold, just not refrigerated cold.
Mm-hmm. So do they have the big giant London Wheel or something like that?
Yes, the London Eye on the Thames. So that's always, honestly, if you just walk down the Thames, you'll always find something. There's quite a bit to do. So you've got like the Tower Bridge and the Tower of London. They've got the dungeons and the Sea Life. The Sea Life one's pretty cool as well. They've got that. That's all in like one area outside the London Eye. I think it's also attached to a Shrek experience, which I wouldn't recommend, but it's like it's like a full. It's just called the Shrek experience. I've never been. I've never had any desire to go either. But it's like so I think the Sea Life. Then next to that is the dungeons. And then after that is the Shrek experience.
That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I don't know why it's there. I don't know what to do. I don't know what actually is included in the Shrek experience. I don't know if I want to find out. But that is there. And then yeah, London Eye is really good. It takes 30 minutes to go all the way around. Because it's a very slow moving, but you're in like the clear pods, and when you get to the top, you can see all of London.
Oh wow.
And you can see the Thames, and it is really good. And within the actual pod, like the handrail around it has descriptions of what you're looking at. Because the pod itself doesn't move, so it's all singular. So it highlights exactly what each building is and what was there, and it gives a little bit of a description of it as well.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. No, it's definitely fun. I would say that as well. That's a fun thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about the food in London? Like, I mean, and when I like, because I love food, so it's like if I go to a place and I'm like, what's the food like? Like, what's the similarities? What are the differences? What are some good foods in London that some traditional
wings.
American might look at?
So the food, I will say, isn't different to what you would eat. So you'd still have your burgers and your pizzas and like all of the traditional. Like, there's nothing. You're never going to not have something to eat here. There'll always be something that you recognize. I think the difference is that we've got foods here that you don't have there.
Beans on toast.
Say again?
Beans on toast.
Yes, beans on toast is 100% something you have to try. I think I sent a list. So Zach Vaughan, obviously editor for Buffalo Fans, he's here. So I sent him a list of foods that he has to try while he's here. So on the list, the first thing is a sausage roll from Greg's. So Greg's is like it's not a fast food, it's a bakery, but it is pretty. They make it fresh, so they've got ovens in the back, and they make pastries, like meat pasties and like savoury pasties. So it's made in like the fluffy pastry, but a sausage roll from there is like the ultimate sausage roll ever. So you have to. So it's just it's a pork filling, and it's got the flaky pastry around it. But
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's the best. Like, that's one thing that you absolutely have to. And then the other thing is like a fish and chips. Now, don't get it at a restaurant, not with like where you sit down and you have it with a knife and fork on a plate. You need to go to a fish shop that's like in the wall, like literally a wall, and they'll hand it over to you. So the ice cream counters that you get, and they've got like the curved clear front on it.
Yeah.
A chippy will have that, and they'll fry the chips behind that, and they'll put the fish on the tray. So
they're just French fries.
No, these are like fat steak chips. I think steakhouse chips, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like the proper chunky. Steak fries. So they're really chunky, but they're soggy and they're soft. So the way that I described it is that it comes in a polystyrene tray. So that's number one, where it's going to be good. The second thing is that they wrap it in like paper, like a newspaper almost. So they've got to wrap it in that. And then the other thing is that when you open it, your entire hotel room has to smell like salt and vinegar. If it doesn't, then you've not bought the right one. Yeah, and they've got to give it you like little plastic forks, which are like this big, and it's got 3 prongs on it. That's when the food's going to be good. That's the only chippy you can get. If you get it at a restaurant and you have to sit down and eat it with a knife and fork, you've got the wrong one.
Okay.
So that's one. There was one other thing that I told them. I can't remember what it was. But there are certain foods that you wouldn't eat there that you absolutely have to try when you're here. Like beans on toast is number one. I mean,
is there anything like specific that they put on there to make it like? Is it just like a piece of toast and just beans?
Yeah, but I think the difference is, and I've seen sort of the baked beans that you guys have.
Yeah.
And that sort of beans, I wouldn't put it on toast. But this is a tomato based bean, but it's sweet, but not like overly sweet. It's just it's still a savory, but it's sweeter. It's almost like beans like are mixed in ketchup, but like not as sweet as that, and it's got a bit more tomato watery base to it. And it's the ultimate meal at whatever time of day that you have it. If you want to have it as a midnight snack, if you want to have it for lunch, if you want to have it for breakfast, there's no right or wrong time to be eating beans on toast.
Yeah, I've I saw a picture of it. It was like a with eggs or something like that.
Yeah, some
Like a
people
breakfast.
do, but I don't. To be fair, when you're having a full English breakfast, like one thing on the side will always be beans. But I think the best way to eat beans on toast if it's just those two ingredients, like don't put anything
Mhm.
else with it. But it tastes good. So obviously you've got your sausage, your bacon, and your eggs, and all of that in the morning. Baked beans are always a go-to with that as well. But traditionally, put it on toast, and that's it. That's a full meal on its own. You don't need anything else.
Mhm. One time I actually just took a piece of toast and like because we were just like we were having like burgers and like baked beans one time and I put the baked beans on there and I'm just like what is it actually like? It wasn't that bad and I know that like you said the beans it's a different consistency it's a different you know uh recipe than what it is here over in the United States but I'd be willing to try it.
Yeah,
Definitely fish and chips. That sounds great. The sausage roll. That
yeah,
sounds great.
yeah. I
The
think
sausage
that's
roll
top
sounds like
three.
like an American version of a hot pocket in a way, just the way you were
Yeah.
just describing it.
No, see, this is I don't know how else to describe this. The thing is, everyone does sausage rolls, like all of the different markets and that. They all have their own version, but I don't know what it is. But the only good one is from Greg's. Like that's the ultimate sausage roll. I think they were the ones that did it first. I think, and then everyone else just tried to replicate it.
hmm
And when it comes down to it, it's a very simple thing to make, but for whatever reason, it only tastes good when it's from Greg's.
Yeah, they must have like certain
Um,
seasonings or something they put in it.
yeah. Oh, the other thing on the list was pies, like meat pies and savory
hmm
pies. Same exact crust, but it's filled with savory and it's savory ingredients, and it's got the sort of um the crust is just a bit crumblier, I think.
hmm
So I would definitely recommend just any pie. And if you're feeling really adventurous, put it in a sandwich roll, like the bread. Put a
Yeah.
pie in between that
Oh,
and eat that. It's called
interesting.
we call it a Wigan butty. It's called a Wigan kebab, really. And you should. That's one thing that you have to. That's something that most people in the UK don't even try. But you've got to give that a
hmm
go. That's always fun.
Wigan kebab.
Yeah.
Wigan kebab. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, what in the world? Wait. So a pie served in a buttered
It
barm.
looks like a
Yeah.
cupcake on a. It's like looks like a cupcake sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mushy peas.
You can put mushy peas on it if you want. I do not. I just put
Wow.
it's just the pie and the bomb. It's called a bomb cake, which is just the
hmm
bread. Yes, because that's one thing you also have to know is that everyone across the UK calls bread by a different name of whatever type you.
Oh.
Interesting.
There's a very heavy debate about it all as well about which is the correct way to call it. I call it a roll, just
Mhm.
like a roll, but people will call it a bomb, or a bap.
A
When I went to uni, everyone there called it a batch, which I'd never heard before. Some people call it a cob. So there is a lot of debate about this, and it has divided families and countries and states. So
Aw.
yeah,
Wow.
it's it's all exactly the same thing, just different names for it. So
That's
yeah,
just how it is like in different states. Like in the
yeah.
South, it's so like
Like
they have
pop and soda type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. We have a debate about pop and soda.
Oh, we call it pop. It's pop
Pop.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we call it pop too. Like
Yeah,
in
me too.
Western New York, it's
Well,
pop.
that's a Canadian thing as well, right? Canada
Uh,
only calls it pop.
I'm
So
not
I'm
I don't know
thinking,
what Canada
sure.
calls
I
it, but
feel like
like certain parts of America, they'll say soda pop. Some will
yeah.
call it a Coke. Some will say soda. Some will
Yep.
call it fizzy water. And it's like,
fizzy
what?
water's a cop out.
I know. That's seltzer.
Yeah.
That's seltzer. Yeah, Canadians they often say pop. While
Yeah.
Americans enjoy soda.
Yeah.
But we say like up here in the north we say pop
Yeah.
because that's more closer to Canada. But we really appreciate you coming on.
No
Uh
worries. Thanks for having me.
yeah, that was a really cool breakdown and then talking about everything around London that we can expect for Bills fans to visit. Where can we find you? Like, say your handle on Twitter, where you write for Overreaction Buffalo.
Yeah, so all of my socials are Savage Trish. So you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter with that. And yeah, Overreaction. I'm not really writing for them anymore. I'm just doing the socials there.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping to sort of branch out and do a bit more there. But
Yeah.
it's still very new, so yeah, we'll keep you updated on that. So that'll be fun.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. It was nice talking to you.
Yes,
Go
thanks
Bills.
for
Awesome
having me.
talking.
Of
Go
course.
Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Bye.
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 All right. So tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., we have Bills Jaguars. It's going to be a really interesting game, and I'm excited to wake up early. I usually when I wake up, it's probably around like 9 a.m. for game day, and like
Yeah.
just waiting and waiting and waiting for 11:30 when inactives come out, and then it hits 12, and I'm just like, oh my god, like we have an hour left, like I have to wait that long
It's
for
the slowest hour
game.
on earth. I'm being
It's so
serious.
slow. So it's gonna be really different having to watch the game at 9:30 a.m. Like, well, I'm just gonna be drinking coffee, and at that point, I don't even eat during games. So it's gonna be hard for me. Like I'm gonna have to eat breakfast like at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like yeah, you'll eat breakfast early, but like for me, it's probably around like 10 o'clock. I
Mhm.
eat something before the game, so I'm gonna have to eat way early, just get some food in my stomach, so that I'm not like feeling sick during the game
Yeah.
and super hungry. So definitely coffee for the morning. Not gonna. I don't think I'll drink a beer that early. I think I'll be
I mean,
good.
we could. I mean, we could.
I could.
I mean, bars open at 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm staying home. I'm staying home. Yeah.
staying home is probably the best choice.
Yeah. And I gotta work on some homework after this. Gotta crank out an exam,
Oh,
an
jeez.
online exam. Yeah, that's not gonna be fun. But that was our London special. We hope everybody enjoys this when it premieres tonight at 8 p.m. Tomorrow's going to be a really good game, conference game. Hopefully, we get some revenge on the Jaguars after the disastrous matchup we had back in 2021. Our offensive line is healthy now, and it's a lot better than it was even when it was healthy in 2021. So hopefully we come up with a dub,
Hopefully.
and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday. Hopefully, I don't have to say an apology.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you picked the Jaguars, but you did
I
that just
did.
for karma. Yeah.
I did. I'm just trying not to jinx us. But, anyways, go Bills.
All right, go Bills.